2023 preseason Tremont Smith versus 2023 Marquez Callaway.
Oh God.
We got a legendary matchup right here.
Yo, you low key cooked with this shit, bro. Um, I'm
I went
taking.
into my bag, bro.
I'm taking. I think.
Welcome back to another episode of the Broncos Avenue podcast. I'm your host, Amir Farrell, co-host Evan Petruk. The Denver Broncos are predicted to sign a receiver who's considered a top route runner in the NFL and has accumulated over 10,000 receiving yards during his NFL career. Plus, stay tuned for a new edition of Cut and Keep at the end of the episode. If you guys aren't familiar with that, I give Evan two players. He has to cut one and keep another, but they're only Broncos players, some current, some legendary. Stay tuned for that. You guys have been enjoying that. But Evan, how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing very well. It's another beautiful day, and thankful that I'm alive in this nice sunshine.
Yes, sir. Douglas Fritz of Clutch Points predicts that the Broncos will sign former Raiders, Browns, and Bills veteran wide receiver Amari Cooper before the start of training camp to come in and push the team's young
Cowboys, you
core.
forgot.
My bad, my bad. Cowboys as well. Young core of receivers. I knew I was missing a team there.
Yeah.
Cooper posted 44 catches for 547 yards and 4 touchdowns in 2024 with both the Browns and Bills. Dealing with injuries last season, Cooper didn't look like the same route running technician that we've seen the last several years. Not to mention, he did just turn 31 years old. Evan, would this be something you would entertain for the veteran minimum, considering your current receiving room?
This is hard for me because I love Amari Cooper. I know he's low key did not beat the wash allegations last year, but I've always been a huge Amari Cooper believer. I think that I like the savvy route runner type of wide receiver. I also like to go up and get it type, but I like guys that can run a crisp route and just get the ball in their hands and get first downs. And Amari Cooper is probably one of the best at doing that over the last 10 years in the NFL. However, I think I like the potential and upside of our wide receiver room more. And I just think that the fact that we have a veteran presence like Cortland Sutton in there is good enough for me already. And I definitely just like to see the receivers that we have in the room to take a big step this year. So with putting it aside how much I like Amari Cooper, I think he's one of the most likable players in the NFL. I am going to say no, I do not want this, but it hurts me because I do really like Amari Cooper I like Amari Cooper more than probably most people.
Yeah, he's a talented player, and I think he'll definitely land with someone. I just don't think it'll be in Denver. I think Sean Payton likes the core that he's working with right now. Several of the players he drafted on his own, and he wants to continue to develop them. So why bring in someone to come in and not ruin that development, but it's going to hinder it a little bit. And I do see the point of bringing him in and helping coach those guys, having like a separate coach who is also a player in your room. But I personally think um, the potential development of our young guys like Troy Franklin, Marvin Mims, Devon Vele outweighs what Amari Cooper would bring us in that room. I think I would rather have that trio of guys have their, what is it, 50 extra snaps, whereas maybe Amari Cooper would take that away during the season. And even if you do bring him in, I don't think he would really make the team. Maybe he would, but I think ultimately, I think they would rather have their guys on the rookie contracts rather than bringing Amari Cooper and take those snaps away. You got Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims, Devon Vele, Pat Bryant. I didn't even mention him. Pat Bryant, who Sean Payton drafted. It's crazy. Sean Payton's already drafted 4 receivers since he's gotten here. Just two. He got here in 2023, just 2 years ago. This is his third offseason with the Broncos. He's already drafted 4 receivers. He clearly wants to develop his own young core of guys, for the next several years and the future in Denver. So. I think he knows that Cortland Sutton is our top vet, and I think he wants to keep it that way. And I agree. I personally wouldn't want to bring him in here, so I agree with you there. All right, let's go ahead and move into this cut and keep, and let us know down in the comments what you guys think about all that Amari Cooper stuff. Appreciate your guys' feedback. All right, like I said, just a reminder, I named 2 players. Evan has to cut one and keep another. big disclaimer, all respect to these legends, veterans. This is not taking it super literal. We're not throwing their career accomplishments out the window by any means. So I'm going to go ahead and start with this first one. Von Miller versus Champ Bailey. Starting off hot. Very hot. Hotter
Dog.
than what I'm feeling from the sun right now.
Oh man. Like, are we talking about putting them on the roster right now?
Yeah. Like prime Von Miller
Like,
versus
if I
prime
could
Champ
take
Bailey.
prime Von Miller versus prime Champ Bailey and put them on this roster right now,
Yeah.
if you were talking about that, it would have to be Champ Bailey for me. But like, I am like, dude, Von Miller is so elite, bro. Like, that's a tough one. I think that my belief in, not saying I don't like Riley Moss, but my belief in Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper and the depth that we have at the edge position right now, I would definitely rather have Champ Bailey on the team. But it's by a very slim margin because Von Miller was just a game wrecker. I mean, look at the Super Bowl, man. Look at the playoff run. Like, he was so dominant. So, I mean, not saying that Champ Bailey isn't, but I'm going to have to go Champ Bailey if we're putting them on this roster right now, but it's by a slim margin.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, but that hurts me so much because like
It
Von
does,
Miller is
man.
my
That's a
favorite
tough
player
one.
of all time.
Yeah.
But I also like Champ Bailey's right next to like Von Miller and Demaryius Thomas for
Yeah.
my favorite players in franchise history. But yeah,
Good
dude,
old Vonnie Beavishawn Miller.
Champ Bailey and Sertan locking down the field like that's
Oh,
gonna make it so
man.
much easier for pass
Dude,
rushers.
how would
So
you even throw?
yeah, exactly.
You
Just
can't. You
imagine how
can't. It
crazy
would
that'd
just
be.
be like screen passes and drags.
Yeah. That would be absolutely nasty. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Next one is is Broncos Teddy Bridgewater versus Trevor Siemian.
Like, which one would I rather have?
Yeah, like right now we don't have a quarterback on the roster. We need someone like it's the Saints game
Oh
in 20
God!
in 2021 or was it 2020 whenever we didn't have a quarterback. Like you either sign Teddy Bridgewater to the roster or Trevor Siemian.
Can I just take Kendall Hinton?
Yo,
Low
come
key,
on.
I like Teddy Two Gloves, so I wasn't the biggest Trevor Simeon believer, so I'm gonna have to go with Teddy Bridgewater on that one. You guys can flame me in the comments if you guys love Trevor Simeon, but I don't think anyone has ever said love and Trevor Simeon in the same sentence before, besides maybe his mom or something. But
Hey, you probably don't know her, but Lindsay Bebo, she's had me on her podcast, and she's pretty big in the Broncos community. She's also a writer for, well, I think she still is for Mile High Sports. She's been very supportive of this podcast. We've had her on once, and she is the absolute. I'll send this to her. The absolute biggest Trevor Simeon. I don't want to say meat rider because that low key sounds weird. Like
lover.
lover, yeah. Biggest Trevor Simeon lover in the world, bro. Like I've never seen anything quite like it. Like imagine taking the my Devon Vele worshiper account idea and like taking it to the extreme. Like yeah. I respect the commitment, bro.
But I will say that out of all the Broncos quarterbacks, if we're excluding Bo Nix since Peyton Manning, I still like follow Drew Lock on Instagram. Like I was like so invested in Drew Lock. I love Drew Lock. So any quarterback from Manning up to Bo Nix, put them all in a room. I'm taking Drew Lock 10 out of 10 times.
Oh,
I want to see him.
why?
I
Dude,
love
what do
Drew
you
Lock,
see a Drew
man.
Lock, bro?
I love Drew
Oh my
Lock, bro.
god. Bro, someone back me up in the comments,
You're
man. Like
telling me you would take Trevor Simeon over Drew Lock?
yes. Yes, I would. Drew Lock was ass, bro. Drew Lock was ass. What do you see in Drew
Vic
Lock?
Fangio is just terrible.
Oh my
I'm
god.
actually low key pissed that Vic Fangio won a Super Bowl. Like
Yes.
I
Well,
actually
actually,
I think I
nah, I
would
don't
have
care.
seen the Chiefs three-peat than see Vic Fangio win another Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl.
Bro, what are you on today, dude? Oh my god.
I'm Vic Fangio hater 101.
I'm more on the boat of, good for him. But
It
there
is good for
was
him. I'm just a
yeah.
hater. And it's more just because I love Drew Lock and he just ruined Drew Lock's career.
But yeah, I would agree with you on the Bridgewater versus Simeon. Bridgewater, bro, he got, in my opinion, he got a little too much hate in his tenure in Denver.
Yeah,
Like
it's because he wore
he
two gloves.
he was a check down merchant. I'll agree, but like he still moved the ball down the field. Like we're not gonna sit here and act like he was as ass as Russell Wilson. Like we were so spoiled with Trevor or not. Oh my God, we're so spoiled with Peyton Manning during that era that we move on to Trevor Simeon, who obviously had a turnover problem. Joe Flacco, who just asked and really didn't care about football, and Denver it seemed, and many of these other quarterbacks. Chad Kelly being interesting at Halloween parties.
Don't forget about my goat, Paxton Lynch.
Yeah, Paxton Lynch, who absolutely loved the game of football so much that he was crying on the sidelines. Um, yeah, and then we go to Teddy Bridgewater, who actually led us to like a 7-6 record on the like fringe of a playoff berth, and obviously gets injured. We don't make it. Drew Lock shits the bed, and Melvin Gordon shits the bed, and all of a sudden everyone thinks Teddy Bridgewater was like the reason we missed the postseason. Like, come on, man. Like, I know our defense kind of carried that year, but I don't think he was an average quarterback. He was an average quarterback. I'm not saying he was this
Do you know
elite
how?
guy, but
Do you know how tall Paxton Lynch is?
it's like 6. I don't know.
6'7".
Is he really 6'7"? I thought he was like 6'5".
Yeah. Nah, he was like one of the fucking tallest players ever, like at the quarterback position, I think.
Yeah, it makes sense why John Elway drafted him. Next one we got
6'7".
I got 2023 Damari Mathis versus Broncos Melvin Gordon.
Damari Mathis. I
Oh
was the
man.
guy. Yeah, like this. You look, you might have to cut this out, but I was the guy that was in Melvin Gordon's IG comments and the reason why he deactivated them.
I know you told I'm keeping this in by the way. You
Okay.
told me this. You told me this.
I ain't never gone on someone's IG and done something like that to a player on my own team besides Melvin Gordon. So,
By the way, guys,
I would
Evan is a
take Paxton
changed man.
Lynch over Melvin Gordon playing running back.
Bro,
I am a
here's
changed man.
here's the thing. Yeah, Evan's a changed man, by the way. We do not promote any type of behavior in players' comment sections.
Yeah.
Um,
I wasn't getting the help I needed mentally, so I was taking it out on Melvin Gordon.
yeah. Dude, I'm about to say something controversial. It's gonna piss you
Oh,
off and some other
oh
people
God,
off.
oh man.
Bro, excluding the fumbles, Melvin Gordon was not that bad. He was a good
Yeah,
running back.
yeah. Excluding the fumbles, he was a good running back. Excluding the fumbles.
But we like make him out
Dog.
to be like he's like Osama bin Laden or something. But like,
Because he is, bro. How many
bro.
fumbles did he have in that one season? Like fucking
Okay, yeah,
9?
that did lose us probably the good like 5 games, but like,
Yeah. That's the difference of making a playoffs or not. Is this guy dropping the fucking football?
but it's not like he was averaging like 1.3 yards per carry and was like fumbling every
Okay, yeah,
game.
like I think that when he actually was holding on to the ball, he wasn't that bad. But I think that one of the easiest things to do as an NFL running back is to hold on to the football.
Sorry, I just wanted to rage bait for there for a second,
Oh
but like
man.
I was looking at his stats, bro. He almost had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. If he just held on to the football, like he actually was like actually damn near like top
I
12
got
running
a
back.
hot take for you here is I think 1,000-yard seasons are overrated. Look at Najee Harris. I think
It,
Najee Harris is ass, and he has
true.
had 1,000 yards every year he's been in the league.
That is true because like when you're having wide open running lanes and you don't require any type of like lateral movement to pick up yardage, like what is so impressive about that?
Or you're getting 7 million carries a season.
True. Yeah, what episode was that? We had like a full segment. We talked about how Najee Harris is overrated.
This is about
I'm
J.K. Dobbins.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll also stand on that. I remember even like coming out of the draft, there was so many Broncos fans who told me that we should have drafted Najee Harris over Javante. And I will still stand by that.
Was he in the same year as Josh Jacobs? Because I know that I'm pretty sure Najee was starting, but then Josh Jacobs got drafted before him or some shit like that. Or maybe that was the year after. I don't know.
Yeah, it was definitely back-to-back years. At the minimum, it might have been the same draft. I don't think it was the same draft though.
No, I think you're right because Najee's rookie contract just expired and Josh Jacobs expired last year. Yeah, so it would have been the year after, but yeah, no, I love Josh Jacobs, man. He's so good.
Yeah, he's a good dude too. 2023 preseason Tremont Smith versus 2023 Marquez Callaway.
Oh God,
We got a legendary matchup right here.
yo, you low key cooked with this shit, bro. I'm
I
taking
went into my bag, bro.
I'm taking I think Tremont Smith on that one.
Dude, remember like, were you watching a pod back then?
Probably.
Dude,
I don't even remember, bro. Were you guys crashing out?
bro, the OGs, you guys remember we were like cooking Tremont Smith after his preseason performances. If you guys were there for that, that was something, man. Like that dude could
Yeah.
not cover shit, bro. If Drewski ran a slant on him, you would get his ankles fucking, bro.
Bro, I remember fucking Marcus Callaway in like training camp. It was so hype because this guy was just so shifty, and then the pads come on, he just can't do
We
anything.
were talking about this dude how he had what was it? He had like 1,000 yard season in New Orleans or some shit. Or no, not 1,000 yard season. He had like 700 or 800 yards, but he was the wide receiver one with Jameis Winston throwing him the ball. So we thought he would actually be like a wide receiver 2 or 3 here in Denver, and he
Oh
ended
man.
up getting fucking cut for a regular season. And
Who do
a
you think's gonna
little
start? Who do you think's gonna start the season as QB1 in New York?
New York
The
Giants.
Giants. Yeah.
Russell Wilson, but I think Jackson Dart's going to be thrown in pretty soon, like how we saw with Baker Mayfield and the Browns
Yeah.
a few years back. So yeah, I did see Ian Rapport like tweeting or reporting that it's a matter of when, not if. But yeah, I'd be surprised if they made him the week one starter. And little tidbit, real quick about Tremont Smith, he did unfollow me after all those rants on Instagram. So
Didn't block
um,
you though.
no, he didn't block me. Damari Mathis reference. Um, Demarius Thomas versus Rod Smith. This is and first of all respect, rest in peace to the great Demarius Thomas. He is the GOAT. My opinion, the greatest receiver in Broncos history. But I don't think we've ever talked about this. Like, who would you take between these two, if you're being completely honest?
DT.
I know some people feel very strongly about Rod Smith. So
I think Rod Smith is unbelievable, and
yeah,
being undrafted and everything, he's one of the greatest receivers of the prior generation, I guess you would call it. Sorry for the old heads that might take offense to that, but Demarius Thomas is the man. I wouldn't be on this podcast if it wasn't for Demarius Thomas. He's the guy that made me a fan of football, the guy that made me a Broncos fan, and just such a good person and a player, man. And watching him play, and I wore number 88 and like for a bit when I first started playing football,
that's awesome.
and I just like Demarius Thomas is like, I might be being a little biased here. Like if you look at statistically, Rod Smith might, like if you're looking at it from a logical standpoint, I know I'm kind of being a hypocrite here, talking about the Elway Manning one that we had on the last one, where I'm like, if you look at the stats, but you guys can feel free to flame me on this, but Demarius Thomas is just too special of a player to me for me not to pick him. So that's where I'm kind of going from that. Obviously, they're both phenomenal players, but it's more of a sentimental thing for me to take him over Rod Smith.
Yeah, even in both their prime, I would still take DT on my football team, just in my opinion, just because of the way the passing game is now. Like, I think you
Mm-hmm.
would be better for our offense. Because, by the way, when we're doing these, like Evan said for the verse one, Von Miller versus Champ Bailey, like we're saying if they're currently if they're in our current locker room, our 2025 locker room, and we have to cut one or keep another, I'm keeping Demarius Thomas for this offense.
I agree.
Yeah, and going back to like everything about him, man, he was a better human than a football player, and that's saying something considering how extremely talented of a player he was, man. Rest in peace to him. But
Mm-hmm.
let us know what you guys think in the comments. Did you guys disagree or agree on any of these matchups? Let us know what you guys would have chose differently. And would you want the Broncos to sign Amari Cooper? Both of us think they shouldn't, but if you feel differently, let us know in the comments. We're open to your opinions. But with that being said, I'm your host, Amir Farrell, with my co-host, Evan Petruk. See you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody. Take care.